It's time to talk our favorite Star Wars books. So, welcome to the Force with Friends podcast. If you are new here, we are just friends that talk Star Wars almost every week. Sometimes new stuff, what's going on. A lot of times, since there's not always new stuff, it's just, random Star Wars topic. And that's when it seems to be fun. That's kind of where we're at today. So, I am joined by Kevin and Skywalking Ryan. Definitely go check out Ryan's channel. I will link it in the description. But we're just going to go through we've kind of narrowed it down. We've read a lot of Star Wars books between the three of us. I've read the least amount, I think, but we have read quite a few Star Wars books. And so we've kind of narrowed down our three favorite books, or even if it's like a trilogy of books, maybe that. This is not in any particular order, so don't feel like you've got to be like, oh, 3, 2, 1. Just three favorite Star Wars books. But before we get going, we're going to do some honorable mentions before we get our three favorite, because it's really hard to just say three Star Wars books, I think, because there are so many Star Wars books. I mean, it's been probably 3-4 decades of Star Wars books now. So I mean, there is a lot of them. The 90s was great for Star Wars books. So let's start with honorable mentions. I'll go first on mine really quickly, and this may be cheating. It may be it's an audiobook, but I suppose you could read it too. But Dooku Jedi Lost. If you've never listened to or read that one, it is a lot of fun. It just carries you through Count Dooku's story from a young apprentice all the way up to some pretty terrible Sith things that Dooku does. It's from 2019. Audiobook is just about 6 hours. So if you put that on the 1.25 speed, which is kind of my sweet spot, you'll finish it, around that 5-hour mark. Super quick listen. I mean, I think I did it in just a few days. I was so into it. Anytime I walk the dogs, I had that thing plugged in on my headphones. And if you're an Asajj Ventress fan, which I don't think I was necessarily, I didn't have any issue, but before this book, I was just like, yeah, Asajj is a cool character, but always super interested in Dooku. So that kind of drew me in. You get his backstory coming up, and it really makes you sympathize with him. But by the end of it, you're kind of like a really big Asajj Ventress fan as well. At least I was by then. And so I think after this one, I went and read Dark Disciple, or listened to it after this as well, which that book probably, I mean, that could be an honorable mention too. It's not for me, but just I did both of those around the same time. So getting into the Dooku Asajj story, big fan of that for sure. So that's my first honorable mention is Dooku Jedi Lost. Kevin, what do you got?
We're just doing one honorable mention. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I've got one or two. So whatever you want to do.
Just one at a time. All right.
Yeah.
The Republic Commando novels, honorable mention. Those are really, really fun. They offer kind of a different take on the Commandos. Obviously, it's not the canon story, right? It's not based on the inhibitor chip. It's really interesting. They were just kind of bred for loyalty. Like they took pride in loyalty and obedience, and so it follows this group of commandos all the way up through Order 66, who one of them is in love with and has a child with a Jedi, and so it gets really complicated, but it's a really cool story. It's a really emotional story, but it does kind of offer a different take on the clones, rather than they were forced to. It was more of they understood what they were doing, but that's what they do. They follow orders, and so it's a different take, but they're really good novels. Karen Travers, I think, is the author of those. So definitely up there on my list of fun readings.
Side note on this, for as much Star Wars as the two of y'all have read, I'm gonna have to rewatch this episode, which I usually don't rewatch these, and I'm gonna be taking some notes to be like, all right, this is my next Star Wars book I'm gonna read. Ryan, honorable mention. What do you got?
It's a trilogy, so it's okay if I have three.
Yeah.
Books.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, it's
what
the
are
Jedi
those?
Academy trilogy. So
nice.
Because when people talk about trilogies, at least for Legends, it's always the original Thrawn trilogy. I'd never see this talked about, and this was such a fun one. I can't remember a lot of it. I read it a while ago, but maybe because I flew through it, I read it in probably the entire thing, probably 2.5 to 3 weeks, because I had a lot of time at that moment that I discovered this. So I originally, these are used copies, but I actually they all are. But I checked it out of a local library, and I
Yeah.
found them, and I flew through them, and then they didn't have this for some reason. I don't know if somebody just kept checking it
Hmm.
out, but I bought it somewhere, used bookstore. But yeah, it was fun. It takes place, like a lot of original trilogy stories after Return of the Jedi, and of course it's Academy trilogy, so it's about Luke starting his Jedi Academy, and yeah, it's fun. But yeah, I wish I remembered a lot.
Are those the ones with like Kip Duron and the Sun Crusher?
Yeah,
That's them.
Yeah.
The Anderson novels. Yeah, those are
yeah.
good.
So a lot of people.
That is a good trilogy.
Yeah. Okay, you read it. Okay, awesome. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
not alone then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's never talked about. It's just the Thrawn trilogy, which again is amazing. But I would
Mhm.
totally recommend it. It's a really underrated trilogy. So yeah, Jedi Academy
Agree.
trilogy.
I have
So-
to look into those because that's a
Yeah.
time frame that I'm super
Fun.
interested in as well. Like I
Yeah.
really like that time frame. At least the idea of exploring that even more. So that's a good one.
It's Kevin J. Anderson, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, yeah.
Mhm.
He wrote a lot. He's one of those guys who did a ton of Star Wars books during the time.
Yeah.
They had him on retainer or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those guys. Honorable mention, I've got one other that I want to say. It's a good book, and I think it's more so an honorable mention for me just because it fills a need that I have for the current Star Wars canon. So the sequel trilogy, I think, has a ton of high spots. I think it's got a ton of low spots as well. I think it leaves a lot to be desired in some particular areas. We get like these really awesome glimpses and almost like scratches into a cool story like Rey's backstory or what was Luke doing or Lando's daughter getting kidnapped, things like that. And so in Shadows of the Sith, it actually covers a lot of that. You get Rey and her parents on the run from the bounty hunter in episode 9. Ochi of
Yeah.
Bastoon. He's chasing her. He's like kind of an aloof bad guy, kind of comical to follow. You get a lot of them in comics as well. But then you get Lando and Luke going on this adventure. And Luke's like fighting this Sith that's controlled by a helmet. So it's not really a Sith, but it's a person controlled by a Sith helmet. You've got Lando fighting against like just almost scratching the surface of what's going on with the soon-to-be First Order with Palpatine and Exegol. They're just right there at it, but they never quite get there. Really good pacing in the book. So that's an honorable mention for me. It's a lot of fun. It has enhanced my sequel viewing experience, even though I still don't think you should have to have novels to enhance it. That one definitely does it. So that's a good book. If you're wanting like some Luke Skywalker action, I recommend that. It's from 2022, I believe. It's good. Do y'all have any other honorable mentions?
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I would recommend reading it.
Yeah. Kevin?
I got a couple.
Go through them.
Invincible by Troy Denning. It's the very final book. Legacy of the Jedi, I think, was the series. It's towards the end of the stuff before Disney bought. So it's tail end of the Legend stuff. I think the last series was like Fate of the Jedi. But it's really the kind of final closing book on Jason Solo, Darth Caedus, that whole story. That whole series is good. But the reason I love that book is it really asks some really interesting questions about the Force. Not very George Lucas approved questions in terms of, how the Force works with the dark side and that sort of thing. But it's really interesting. The note that it leaves on kind of points to this question of whether the Force ever uses the dark side to kind of reinvigorate the light, to bring the light back, which was a really interesting idea and question. So it's a really good book. It's a great end to that saga, but it is up there in one of my favorites. So,
All right.
That's very cool.
Any others, or is that the only one you got?
the Corellian trilogy, the Legends
Corellian.
stuff.
What's that one about?
Yeah, it's Han Solo kind of goes back to his roots on Corellia. It's a series. It's a trilogy of books. There's a lot that goes on. There's like a war breaking out within the Republic. There's this big center point station thing that is capable of moving stars and things. It's fun.
That's fun. That's super sci-fi, right?
Yes, it does get pretty super sci-fi. So,
Ryan, you have any other honorable mentions before we get into the really good stuff?
Not books, but since you mentioned Shadow of the Sith and you said there was a character that had a helmet that gave him some powers, it reminded me of, have you guys ever played the Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast game?
Mm-hmm.
I have not. I know Kevin has.
Okay, so you remember in it, there's I forget he's a Dark Jedi. He's not a Sith, but he has these like minions called Sith Reborn, and it's kind of
Oh
similar. They
yeah,
have these crystals that are powered with the dark side, and they just have them on them, and they can have the Force, and they're
Oh,
like the minions that you have to fight
yeah.
throughout the game. They're powered from this
yeah.
crystal
I
with
do
the
vaguely
dark
remember
side.
that.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That was
No,
a
that
fun
is
game.
cool. All right, so let's get into the good stuff now. So we have each again kind of narrowed it down to 3. Doesn't have to be in any particular order. I'm going to go ahead and start off with my all-time favorite one, though. Y'all can go however you want to go. But I just think the Darth Plagueis novel is so good. It's like my favorite fiction book I think that I've ever read. It is up there. I mean, I've read a lot of the Harry Potter books. I've read the Narnia books. I haven't got into the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings stuff yet, although I think I probably would really enjoy reading those if I enjoy all those others. But as far as Star Wars goes, within all those fandoms, Plagueis is so good. And I think it started off a little slow for me, like when he's with Tenebris. Also, we'll have some spoilers, by the way. We're talking about books that are like 30, 20, 10 years old. Like all throughout this, you've had opportunities to read them. So if you don't want to get spoiled, don't. I'm not going to be like, oh, here's the big cliffhanger. I'm going to talk about what happens in the book without being too super detailed. But this book, it starts with Plagueis and Tenebris, and then, I mean, as soon as he gets to Palpatine, I am like sucked in there. It is so interesting leading us up to the Phantom Menace. Part of it takes place in the Phantom Menace. We learn by the end of it the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. You get Dooku and Qui-Gon are in there at a certain point. I mean, there's a lot. You get the politics, you get the Sith stuff, you've got even some business, right? He's with the banking clan, so he's got his alter ego that Plagueis has. I think it's super interesting. It's very prequel-ish. Like if you're into the prequels, it fits into all of those little molds. It is a long audiobook as well. I forget how long it is, but I listened to it pretty quick, like within a couple weeks for sure. It was good. I was hooked on it. Have y'all read that book?
No, it sounds good though.
Yeah, that is one that I've been meaning to read and just
Same.
never have.
Wow. So
Yeah.
I've read a book that y'all haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another
Yeah.
talked about one.
It is. That's
Yeah.
a pretty popular one. That's another one that kind
Yeah.
of hit a big resurgence.
Yeah.
Especially leading up to the
not too long ago.
Acolyte. Everyone
Yeah.
read it because and we did get Plagueis, not necessarily
That's true.
I think people maybe thought there might have been more. I don't know. Either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, highly recommend that one. It's my favorite fiction book. I think it's so good. It hits all of the Star Wars things I want. You can get it. I did it on Libby, the app, like the library app. So I just did the audiobook on Libby for free, and you get it for 2 weeks when you do that. And it was an easy get that done within 2 weeks. Listen for me, like it was no issue at all. And y'all probably could read it super fast too. So if I could recommend any Star Wars book to anyone, that's the one I would recommend, especially if you're a prequels fan. Kevin, what's your first book?
I'll start with my favorite, which is Iron Fist.
X-Wing.
It's an X-Wing novel. It's the second book that kind of follows Wraith Squadron, which that's a really fun story. Basically,
Yeah.
Wedge Antilles is trying to form a new X-Wing unit, and he wants them to have more like commando skills rather than just piloting skills. But he doesn't have the money. Like they can't pull transfers. They can't afford to pull people. So he's tasked with just basically putting this together with like washed out pilots and people who kind of they're on like their last leg, second chance type of thing. So
yeah,
it's really kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy, like ragtag group of X-Wing pilots. It's got kind of that vibe where they're all so dysfunctional. But this book in particular is a lot of fun. They're hunting after this warlord who has Iron Fist, which is a super Star Destroyer. And they kind of go undercover as these mercenaries and work for him. They steal these TIE interceptors, and that's what they fly around. But it's a lot of like espionage. There's a lot of like heist-ish type stuff where they got to like sneak into places. There's a lot of dogfighting. The characters are really great. It's funny. Aaron Alston, it's the guy who wrote the Wraith Squadron section of the X-Wing books. He's got a great sense of humor. They're a lot of fun to read with the characters. But this one was just, it's such a good book. Like it it paces so well. It's got a lot of action. It's got a good bit of tension. It's got sad moments. It's got hilarious moments. They pretend they have an Ewok pilot. There's all sorts of fun stuff in there, which is Wedge, right? They put him in a black suit and they tie a stuffed Ewok on his chest to make it look like there's an Ewok flying a TIE fighter.
That is fun.
The idea is that he was like an experiment. It's kind of like Rocket in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's funny.
It's just a lot of fun. It's silly at times, but it's also emotional. It's got a really solid heart to it. The characters are just awesome. So I've read that book cover to cover so many times growing up, and it's still just one of my favorites. I'd recommend all the X-Wing books, but specifically the Wraith Squadron books. Those are my favorite, and Iron Fist definitely stands out for me.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to ask, do we have to read them in order? Or can you go directly to that one? Because that sounds fun.
Yeah, you can. So if you're jumping into the X-Wing novels and you just want to start with the Wraith Squadron, it's number 5 is Wraith Squadron. So it's kind of weird. 1 through 4 cover Rogue Squadron. 5, 6, and 7 are about Wraith Squadron, and then 8 jumps back to Rogue Squadron.
The originals. Interesting.
Which they're all great. I mean, they're such fun books.
Sounds like
but yeah, these were some of my favorites.
I've never read those before. It's cool though with Wedge kind of being espionage, like having the spy part to like him going and doing his own little things, or that they send him out on. Did you ever read the Aftermath book that I loaned you?
I did. Yeah, I really liked it.
Starts off. It feels like they kind of pull a little bit from that, right? Like where they send Wedge out for that one mission. Now, obviously, he takes a back seat for 90% of the book, but the way it starts off is almost as if he's out spying, trying to figure out stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't read the books you're talking about, so I don't know if that's what they pulled from. But
Wedge he's like such a great character throughout these books. Like he's really fleshed out. He's like second to Luke Skywalker in an X-Wing at this point, essentially. So he's a really cool character throughout the books.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. And there's a lot of those to read, it sounds like. So you could really dive into those.
8 or 9 of them.
Quite a few.
So, yep.
Yeah, so I could read them
They're
for the
quick
next
reads,
decade.
Though. They're a lot of fun.
Oh, okay.
Decade.
Take me a while to read them. Ryan, what do you got first?
I have one, but I'm sorry, Kevin, you said it's number 5?
Yeah, Wraith Squadron is number 5.
Okay, yeah,
that'll introduce you to these characters, and then you jump right into Iron Fist and Solo Command, where they team up with Han Solo. That's a fun one.
Ooh.
So
yeah, that sounds awesome. Fun. I'm going to look into that for sure. But my first one, again, like you said, no particular order, but this is I'm sure you guys heard of it, Splinter of the Mind's Eye, the very first Legends story. It was released in 1978. I talked about this a bit in a few podcasts back, that if A New Hope failed, this would be the low budget sequel. So he had Alan Dean Foster start writing it. He gave him of course ideas, and then Alan Dean Foster formed a story out of this just in case, as backup. But it's a really fun story. In it, Leia, she's sent on a mission, and Luke volunteers to go with her. The planet that they're gonna go to, it's Carpus. I think that's how it's pronounced. But then they end up crash landing on Mimban, the planet from Solo, Star Wars story, where Luke or Han and Chewie meet. And they end up running into this Force-sensitive woman, Hala. And she offers to help them get off planet, to escape. But they have to help her. She needs them to help her find a kyber crystal. Because she doesn't, because it's a mining planet. Mimban, just like, in Solo, it's run by the Empire. It's an Imperial mining planet. It's a secret mining operation. So she wants to make sure that the kyber crystal, and it's just one of them too. It's not like Rogue One, where they can just take a lot of it from the temple. But she needs to get that before the Empire gets it. And it's just a fun, crazy adventure. And it's Luke, Leia, the droids, stormtroopers, and Vader's there, so it's not a spoiler. But no Han and Chewie in this one. But there are these big furry beast like Wookiees that help them out too. But it's really fun. And I don't want to spoil my other books, but since this is 1978, maybe hit mute or rewind or forward, because I do want to talk a little bit about this, but I don't want anybody to get spoiled just in case they want to read this, because it's really fun.
It's been 50 years, you're good.
But so anyway, this scene is really cool because Vader shows up, and I mentioned this before, but he cuts Leia's face with his saber.
Yeah.
And then Luke finds out he could heal her wounds. So he does that. And also
Oh.
Luke, this is, I mean, not really his first duel with Vader, but he gets help from Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan possesses him and helps him fight Vader, and they take off one of his arms. It's just a fun adventure. It's a really fun story. I would recommend checking out. And it's not long. It's a pretty short story, but it's fun. I would definitely recommend it.
I would like to read that one, I think.
I'm really intrigued by like what you said, that it was written as like a backup plan. Like that's kind of fascinating to me. That makes me really want to read it and kind of think about that as I'm going through it.
Yeah. This could have been Empire.
This could have been Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, so it was like directly after New Hope when they started writing this. So of course he didn't figure anything out. So there was a little bit of flirting with Luke and Leia in it. But yeah, it's fun. Really fun story.
That's funny. Alan Dean Foster wrote it too. And it's not his only Star Wars book, right? He did the Force Awakens novelization as well. Plus, I mean, he's a famous author. He's done like war books, right, and spy books. He's done a lot of different things like that. So that's cool. He got the first Star Wars book, I suppose.
Actually, you know what? He was the ghostwriter of A New Hope, but I guess maybe for promotional purposes, George Lucas's name was on it instead. I don't know if that was Lucas's idea.
Interesting.
But yeah, he was the ghostwriter of A New Hope novelization.
How interesting.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
I need to read those books that I have that are like the making behind all that.
They're
that
fun.
One for sure is going to make my list for sure. Splinter of the Mind's Eye. 1978. So my next one, I'm going to go a little bit different here. I don't know if many people have read this book. It's semi recently. It was from 2021, but it's Skywalker, A Family at War. I don't know if y'all read that one. It's it's like the Skywalker biography, written as if it's a history book. So if you read the recent Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire, it's a similar genre to how this is. So it's like a fictional biography, if you will, or history book telling that goes through. Really, it starts with, if I'm recalling this correctly, it starts with Shmi Skywalker, and then it works all the way through even to Luke and the Last Jedi, all the way back into there. I think it covers Leia as well, going through the Rise of Skywalker, I think, because it was a couple years after that. So it's such a fun book. I read it so quickly, and actually read it, didn't audiobook it. And just all of the insight on Anakin and Padme that you get too, as you're reading through their whole story, and then even like as it's telling the Vader part of the Skywalker story, still connecting you back to Anakin. Kristen Bavers did a very good job with that book. I've actually, like, when someone read it, someone posted a photo of it on Instagram, like that they just finished it and loved the book. And I was like, oh, this is one of my favorite Star Wars books. And then Kristen Baver commented under my comment, said it's one of mine too. And I'm like forever a fan now, because she actually read my commented back.
That's
cool.
She read my comment on someone else's post and commented back.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
That's super cool that she's like in with the Star Wars fan base as well.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were just straight up into the Skywalkers, which I feel like most Star Wars fans are, it's a great book. There's still some new tidbits in there for you as well, but it's stuff you already know, just reading it maybe in a different style, different genre. It's fun.
So it reads like a historical biography. Is that kind of interesting? I'll have to check that out.
If I had the physical copy, I would let you borrow it. I only have the digital one, though. I bought it like on Google Play. So I'm not sure if it's on any of the library apps or not, but it's old enough now. It's probably like $10. You could probably get it for a few dollars used somewhere, but
probably $5.
It's well worth it. And then to piggyback on that, I'm not going to put this in my top one, because the Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire is good, but it's like it gets into a lot of nitty gritty, like a wide variety of things. It's not just honed in on just the Skywalkers. Like you got the Clone Wars, you got the Empire, you've got the First Order, all that stuff. It's a much bigger book. I had a harder time reading that through, but if you're into that style of book, both of those fit it. Both are pretty good books. So that's my second one, the Skywalker, A Family at War. Kevin?
All right. Number 2 on my list is by the same author as one of my honorable mentions, Troy Denning. Star by Star. It's actually It's kind of sad. It's actually the most recent book on my list, but it came out in 2001. I became a bad Star Wars reader after the Legends stuff, just because, not because I didn't care. Time, family, all those things. Life became difficult. So I have not read nearly as much of the current stuff, and I need to catch up on that. So if you're not interested in Legend stuff, don't listen to any of mine because they're all Legend stuff. But
sure, everyone is interested.
Star by Star, it's part of the New Jedi Order series, which is the Yuuzhan Vong Invasion series, and so it's kind of it's about midway through the series, and it's kind of a tipping point type book where you don't quite know how this war is going to go, how this conflict's going to go. You know, the Jedi are kind of fractured. Luke is in this position of, no, we're just going to defend, and then there's a whole group of Jedi, like led by Kip Duron, that are like, no, we need to be on the offensive, and so the Order itself is kind of torn apart. And there's it's really cool. There's these things called Voxen that hunt Jedi. They're engineered by the Yuuzhan Vong from the if you've read Heir to the Empire, the things that hunt the Salamiri on their planet. Can't remember what those are called. Forskers or something like that. Anyway, they hunt with the Force. And that's what the Yuuzhan Vong do, right? They bioengineer stuff and create new creations. So there's these things that have been hunting Jedi, and so it's really at the core of it is Anakin Solo, who's the youngest Solo child, suggests this strike mission of an all Jedi team to go kind of take out where they're cloning these creatures that are hunting the Jedi. And so it's exciting. It's another kind of like infiltration type mission. There's a lot of high stakes, but it's one of those books where by the end of it, you're like, man, this war is not going to go well, right? Like you kind of expect the Jedi to always come out on top, and then they don't. And so it really kind of raises the stakes for the series and for this conflict. And from this point on, it kind of starts to ask some really cool questions about the Force and about the Jedi's adherence to it. And so it's a really cool book. You get a great scene with Anakin Solo. He, spoiler alert, dies in this book. But it's one of the reasons I don't mind Luke dying the way he does, because Anakin kind of goes out the same way in this book. He just fights to the point where he's so filled with the Force that he just can't live anymore. It's too much for his body, essentially. So that's a cool moment in the book. But anyway, it's a great book. A lot of emotion, a lot of really high stakes stuff. It's really, really interesting in terms of the inner politics of the Jedi and what they should be doing. But yeah, Star by Star, Troy Denning, that's definitely one of my, I love that series, but that one stands out within the series. It's just a really, really good part of it.
Which book is that within the series, like as far as order goes?
Oh gosh.
Is
Nine,
it like,
maybe?
I mean, I know that's a long series, so it's
I want to say it's like 9.
Okay.
That could be completely wrong.
I knew there's a ton of those books, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Like, is this the last one, or there's still some after this?
Yes. No, there's like I said, it's probably like the halfway mark of the series, roughly.
Okay.
So
cool.
Yep.
That sounds super interesting. Again, I like that idea of Master Luke in this order. Like that's cool. That's a super interesting idea that I feel like should eventually be explored on screen.
Now, unfortunately, you can't just jump in and read this one, though.
You got to build up to it. Yeah,
it's dependent on a lot of reading prior to it, but it's worth it, I think.
That's good. Ryan, what's your next book?
Man, Justice for Last Jedi, then, because that Anakin part sounded cool, and we got a canon version of that. But this is another recent one.
Yeah.
If you don't want to know anything about it, again, just mute me or fast forward. And you read all of it or part of it, Will?
I've read. I probably read like maybe a quarter of it, but I've tried starting it a few different times, and I've just had a really hard time getting into it.
Really?
But that's okay. I know I'm in the minority on this book. I feel like this is the book that everyone says you got to read if you're a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
So I've got an issue with reading.
This is such a fun book. I would love this to be a movie or a Disney Plus series. It starts our two characters. They start off, I don't know, maybe 15 years, maybe
They're
more.
young and they're friends. Yeah.
Yeah, they're young and they're friends, and like maybe 15 or so years before the original
Yeah.
trilogy starts. So it goes through from before the original trilogy through the original trilogy.
Yep.
And yeah, it's about these two friends that they grow up together. One is he comes from a rich family. The girl, she comes from like maybe lower middle class, but they're still friends. They both want to be pilots for the Empire because they live on a planet where the Empire, they view them as good, and the Empire visits all the planets just to like make everybody think that they're good. So they grew up thinking the Empire is good, and they decided they were going to join the Imperial Academy together. Again, spoilers, and they do get into the Imperial Academy, and it's really cool. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if there's other canon books or Legends books, but I like that they like bring you in to the academy and just see everything that the students have to go through, the tests and trials. I thought that was really interesting. That's why I think it'll be a fun movie or show, because you can really see just everything they do. Because we always see mostly the good guy stuff, the rebellion. So I like that, and we see the perspective of these characters, their perspective in the major battles, Battle for Yavin, Battle of Hoth, Battle for Endor, plus other battles and missions in between all that. So they brought new ones in, and major spoiler, this is the ending, and it's the Battle of Jakku that we see the remains of at the beginning of The Force Awakens. So it was really fun. I loved their whole story, the two main characters, Thane
I
and
forget their
Sienna.
names. Yeah.
But it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. So I don't know if you have to do an audio book or read it, Will, but definitely give it a chance. And anyone else that hasn't and has been interested, if you've seen this cover, it's a really fun book.
I've actually got the physical copy of this one, and the cool premise to this is they end up on opposite sides of the war, right? That's how it goes, and so you get both viewpoints, and I do think I would enjoy it. I've tried the hard copy once, and I've tried the audiobook a couple times. I just need to actually when I go on vacation next month, I just need to take that book and read it. Is what I need to do, and finish it, because I don't know anybody that says the book is bad. So I just need to get into that one.
Yeah, it's a long book, but it's worth the read. But sorry,
I was gonna say, I think you've sold me on it. I want to read it. I love books that kind of step back from like the heroes and the legends, and just kind of focus in on just the normal people within these things. I find that really fascinating, and so I'm down with that. I got to check that one out.
Do it.
Ryan, isn't Tarkin in it pretty early on?
Yeah,
when they show up at the parade.
Yeah, he's there, and then just like I mentioned, they think he's a good person. They think the Empire is here to help everybody, and and they want to meet him, and they're excited that they get to go to the Empire. Yeah, it's so cool.
It almost gives you on Rebels, where Ezra goes undercover with the one kid that ends up being senator on Lothal. That's I feel like it gives you a lot, because I've read more of it than I think I have, I guess, because you get a pretty deep dive into the Imperial training, a lot more so than you do on Rebels, for sure. But I think I've never heard anything bad about that book. So my last book, and I had a hard time narrowing it down between a few, because I've read a lot of the new canon, and I think a lot of it's pretty good, but I had a hard time putting any of them over this one. Now, I've only read the first of this trilogy, but Heir to the Empire, I'm sure y'all have read that, obviously. But I have not finished the trilogy yet. I'm on the second book, which is, what is it called? I know The Last Command is the third one, right?
Dark Force Rising?
Dark Force Rising.
Dark Force Rising, yeah.
Dark Force Rising. So I have got a little bit into that one. I just don't read as much as I should. When I do, it's usually not Star Wars books. But that's what that's what we're talking about, right? So I think Heir to the Empire, I mean, for people that have read all three of them, I'm sure talking about it's even better. But just the idea of this Jor-El Sabaoth, I think I said his name right. The fact that he's like the clone of this Jedi, and then you get Thrawn in there. You've got Master Luke. You get Han, Leia. It's more so. Is it in this book or the second book where Akbar is starting to get set up? Does it start in this book, or is it just the second one? I'm trying to, because it kind of runs together.
I don't remember, but he plays a really cool part in that series.
So like you get all of these characters that you know from the original trilogy, and I mean Zahn just nails it with this. It's so good. Thrawn is just I feel like it's the best portrayal of Thrawn. I haven't read the new Thrawn books. I hear those are actually probably the best portrayal. They're Zahn books as well.
Yeah.
But I really like this one a lot. I cruised through this one. And Mara Jade's in it. You get the Emperor's hand, right? So the end of it though, like I don't know if this is probably not everybody's favorite part, but I did the audiobook of this one, and the part that just felt the most Star Wars to me is at the very end where like R2 is in the room where like the wall is adjacent to where Luke is, and he breaks Luke out. Like somehow it just felt like very Star Warsy, like from the original trilogy with R2 saving the day. And I don't know why that's my favorite part of that one book, but I don't know if this is the soundtrack or what, but I just love when R2 plays like a big role. That was just very, very Star Wars to me, that one portion of the book.
That's cool. It's been a while, maybe 7 or 8 years since I've read them. Leia's pregnant in this trilogy, right? Or am I thinking of
I don't know that she is in the first book. She may be. I haven't read it it's been over a year since I've read it, maybe longer.
I can't remember.
Or maybe it's
I know she's pregnant pretty early on in one of those series. I just don't remember which one it is.
I think you are. I think you may be right because they're trying to keep her away from everything, right?
Yeah.
And she won't do it, and she ends up going with. She goes to that one planet with whoever they're with, and because she's the. Is it because she's the daughter of Vader? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I think you are.
Yeah,
that's good too. That's another great point of this story. It's good.
Yeah,
it's real good.
It's fun.
You get that diplomatic Leia that is also very stubborn too. I like it.
It was. I mean, it really kickstarted the whole expanded universe. I mean, you know, it really drew a lot of people in. I mean, me personally, I started reading, you know, I was a kid, I was reading like the Young Jedi Knight books by Kevin Anderson. But then when I hit those books, I was like, man, this is like expanding on Star Wars. Like this is awesome. And that was, I probably read those 20 years ago, right? Like that's crazy to me how long ago that was. But these books were there, you know, and really started this whole expanded universe in a lot of ways. And so there's a reason they're iconic. I mean, they really set off a whole chain of events that created a lot of great stories that people love. So yeah, it's a great trilogy.
Yeah, I'm excited to finish it all. I know The Last Command is supposed to be like super good, so I'm excited to get there.
I'm still waiting for the Salamiri to make their canon appearance.
You know they're coming back in this, right?
I want to see them.
So this is a complete side note, but Kevin and I talked about this, like it's been 2 years now, but where we were thinking, because they just kept trying to like pump Sabine up to being this Jedi, but she wasn't. And that's where we were thinking like, oh, Thrawn's going to have the Salamiri. And then Sabine is, you know, they'll be like, oh, she's a Jedi, so it's not going to work against her or whatever, but then she's not. So she's able to actually like be the one that takes Thrawn out because she's not a Jedi. She's still using a saber, but then it turns out she can't use the Force. So now she
still
is
think
disadvantaged.
It would have been a great idea, but
she is now disadvantaged with the Salamiri. So
didn't happen.
It's going to be Mando that takes him out instead.
That'll be interesting.
Not Din Grogu. So Kevin, what you got next?
Oh, back to me. What's my third one? Han Solo trilogy by A.C. Crispin. They are fantastic. If you were not satisfied with Solo, and I don't mean that as an insult, like on either side, maybe you didn't love the movie, maybe you loved it, but it's not gonna get finished now, though, right? Like we're not gonna get the rest of that story, unfortunately. This trilogy is such a great setup for Han Solo's character. It takes place over several years. It really portrays him as you understand who he is coming into A New Hope off of this series. And that was one of the things I loved about it, why he's so guarded, why he's kind of broken, why he wants nothing to do with this rebellion in a lot of ways. Like all of that's really tied into this trilogy. And it's just it kind of goes through everything, right? Like you kind of see the Kessel Run, you see his experience with the Hutts, and He kind of has this run in with what becomes the early rebellion. A lot of his time, obviously, his relationship with Chewie throughout all the series, which, interestingly enough, at the time, the author said that that was the one thing she couldn't write in these books was when he actually met Chewbacca, or his time at the Academy, that was off limits. Which now it's actually in the Solo movie, but
yeah.
But it's so good. I mean, if you just want to feel like you have a complete picture of Han Solo, even if it's not going to align with the movie at this point. It's such a great backstory for him. It's a heartbreaking story. You really understand a lot of who he is through this story. But this whole trilogy is just fantastic. It's was it the Paradise Snare, the Hutt Gambit, and Rebel Dawn, I think, are the three books. But
sounds like it.
As somebody who loved Han Solo out of the original trilogy, it was so cool to just read through that and spend years with Han Solo, kind of understanding who he is as a character. So can't recommend that one enough. It's really good.
No, it sounds fun. I feel like I fall into your category that, like, I'm not satisfied with all of Solo. So I don't hate it. It's a fun movie, but it's not like the greatest Star Wars movie by any stretch. So I feel like I just had to add 3 more books to my list that I'm never going to finish all these books.
Yeah.
So Ryan, what's your last book you got on here?
Yeah, just again, that Solo trilogy, that's been on my list for a few years that I've been wanting it. So yeah,
it's
thank
great
you for sharing that. But my final one is the Dr. Aphra book, and it
that's
Jedi Lost. It's a script. So it's a script book. But it's a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys know anything about her, but she is a really cool character. My way of describing her is she's a combination of Han Solo and Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Because you get some flashbacks and you find out she goes to university to become an archaeologist. So that's the Indiana Jones. But then she's also just very sarcastic. She has dry humor. She's charming. She's just a really fun character. And she has, I describe them as opposite R2 and 3PO. She has a protocol droid named 000 that he's like a very just creepy torture droid. Like his hands have like needles and scalpels and stuff, and he's just ready to like peel the skin off people. And then her astromech, BT-1. Yeah, BT-1. He's like a destruction astromech. He's like just armed with like missiles and
that's awesome.
Explosives and stuff like that. So yeah, he's ready for destruction. So yeah, that's her crew. She has her own ship. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, she looks for Sith artifacts. So not really spoiler because he's on the cover, but Darth Vader ends up enlisting her to like go on missions and get the Sith artifacts because he obviously wants them. So yeah, she works for Vader, and there's run-ins with some characters that we know, some familiar faces. I won't spoil that because it's a lot of fun when you find out who she's running into. And she even at one point goes to Naboo, which was really cool, but I won't say what that's for. But yeah, overall she's a really cool character, and you even get flashbacks to her childhood too. So it's kind of like Dooku, Jedi Lost. It goes back to the past a little bit and then present time. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I would totally recommend this. But yeah, I won't say too much, but it's fun. Definitely check it out.
I'm for sure gonna audiobook that one because it was designed as an audiobook.
Yeah.
So I'm for sure gonna do that one. The quality of those is super high, and she's into the Vader, or she is in the Vader comics as well. She kind of overlaps. So there's like a run of those to where she's pretty involved, and I like that character a lot. I'm caught up on those comics currently. They're at like, I forget how many issues they're into, but they're nearing the end of this specific one.
Nice.
Yeah.
I haven't read them yet though, but yeah, she got her start, like you said, in the Darth Vader comic, and then eventually got into her own, which is cool.
I'll check that one out. I like the idea.
She's a fun character.
Cool.
Yeah, I like it. And yeah, she's not like afraid of Vader in any of these situations. She'll smart off to him, and he kind of respects her for it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And yeah, you get a lot of Anakin in those Vader stories where he kind of respects how brash she is.
Yeah.
But also there's she can do anything. So she's very much Han Solo, right? So that's a good pull out of all of these Star Wars books. Like pull that one up, especially for the new canon. I think people would really get invested in the timeline between episodes 5 and 6, which I'm pretty sure that's where that takes place.
Yeah.
So I think that is most people, again, may not know this, but Star Wars, between the comics and some of these books, has really explored that episode 5 to 6 timeline, which I think is one of the most interesting timelines in all of Star Wars. So that's, Ryan, that's like the deep cut there. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that. That may actually be the next one that I do, because it's only a 5-hour audiobook. I just looked it up.
True.
So I can pull that one off in like a week, probably.
You had me at Indiana Jones meets Han Solo.
Awesome.
That was the selling point for me.
She's a really cool character.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't know that the two of them would actually get along with each other. If Indiana Jones and Han Solo got together, it'd be an interesting movie. Yeah.
They both have a bit of an ego. Yeah.
Little bit. One respects history, though, and the other makes history, I guess. I don't know. Either way. When I hear Han Solo as well, for whatever reason, my mind always goes straight to Maz Kanata yelling Han Solo. Like, I can't not hear that every time. Han Solo.
Yeah. I'll just say, speaking of Maz Kanata, I'll just say that.
Yeah. She's in that book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some other familiar faces, but that's all.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do that one now. So, any other Star Wars books that we need to list out there for the audience to maybe get in on and read? We don't have to describe it, but any just recommendations?
I'll say one. I mean, it's a movie novelization, and of course, if you've read them, you know that they expand on the stories. But I would say Phantom Menace, because you get a new introduction with Anakin. And I read it twice, but it's been a while. But I forget if it's like 6, 7, 9 months. But the story begins months before the events, the beginning of the Phantom Menace with Anakin, and it's just him with his pod racer and dealing with other people, and his mother even sends him off, Shmi, on a mission in the desert, and he ends up running into an injured Tusken Raider and heals this Tusken Raider's wounds, sets up camp, has a fire going, and then he wakes up the next morning, the Tusken Raider's gone. But I thought it was a cool introduction. We still get the Phantom Menace introduction, but it's starting months before the Phantom Menace with Anakin. I thought it was a lot of fun. So if you've never read the movie novelizations, I would recommend the Phantom Menace.
It's cool he could heal him before 10 years later he comes and cuts him down. He heals him to come take care of him.
You would think he would have some sympathy or something.
Yeah, right. I like a few to throw out. I have read the sequel trilogy novels. And so if you are not a huge fan of the sequel trilogies, like Ryan said, the books always expand on a lot of stuff. I think The Last Jedi novelization is really good. I don't hate the movie, but I'm also like not turning it on TBS when it's on TV at the same time. But I think had they followed the blueprint of that book, where it starts off digging in on Paige Tico rather than Rose Tico, again, no dissing to the actress or anything, but I don't think it was a well-written character. But it builds up the two of their relationship getting into the book, and so it's a rebellion story or resistance story first, and then it gets us into where we pick up in the book. You get a lot more on Luke on the island. You get even more on inside the head of Rey and Kylo Ren, and I mean that half of that movie is just inside the head of Rey and Kylo Ren, and then Luke's ending is very satisfying in the novel. I think there's an epilogue to it as well, where the caretakers are cleaning up after he's gone, and they're like, "Oh, I wonder when someone else is going to show up," and they're kind of reminiscing, like he wasn't that bad, he was quirky type of thing. I did not read that book and feel like, oh, that was just the worst thing I've ever read. But when I left the theater, I was kind of conflicted. Like, I don't know if I like that as much as I thought I would. But reading the book, I really enjoyed it. So again, that's cool. Not like, everyone may not want to do that, but if you really want to challenge yourself on what you like and don't like in Star Wars, the sequel trilogy novelizations they're pretty good, I would say.
That's cool.
Kevin, you got any last ones to throw out?
I mean, I feel like I got to throw out Shadows of the Empire. That's a great addition to that time period. I, Jedi by Michael Stackpole's great. That follows Corran Horn and his kind of conflict between whether he wants to pursue being a Jedi or not. That's a cool book. And then if you want to read some weird Star Wars stuff, The Crystal Star.
I've heard about that.
Is if you want to see Jedi Master Luke Skywalker go up against an interdimensional being.
I do.
They got a little really experimental with the sci-fi in that one. It's weird, but it's fun. So I mean,
What a book cover.
That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's pretty cool looking.
How interesting. I had to look that one up too.
I don't remember what the cover looks like. I haven't seen it so long.
There's a crystal star on it. So
yeah, well, there you go.
So that was a lot of Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, what's the book? What's the book where he falls in love with the girl on the computer? Callista.
Oh, Callisto. Yeah.
What book is that?
I've read about her. I can't remember, but I
like
remember
a Jedi
her.
trapped in a computer and he falls in love with her.
Because I have
Star Wars got weird for a while.
Yeah, and that's
Callista
okay.
Ming.
Yeah, it was like real sci-fi. Yeah.
Oh, how interesting. Let's see. She's in the.
What's that?
I just see Callista Ming. Either way, we just went through a ton of Star Wars books. I feel like we went through a whole lot of them. So hopefully, people found something that they like, maybe haven't read, want to read. If we didn't list your book though, and you're still listening, give us some suggestions. We all have some books to add to our list now, so also leave them there for the audience. Star Wars books are a lot of fun, and we got a long time until canon Star Wars comes back on screen. I know we've got Visions and the Lego coming out pretty soon, but till canon Star Wars, we got a while. So might as well dig into a few of these books.
Yeah.
Next week, I have a fun one for y'all if y'all will go with it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So I think it would be fun if we all came up with one thing that is not canon yet, but is in Legends, that you think needs to be brought in to the current canon. So don't just come up with something like off the walls in Legend that's super cool, but something that is there that could still work in what we currently have in canon. So come up with one idea. That way we'll have 3 to talk about for sure. If you have more than one, that's fine as well, and we have time, we'll get through them. But I think that's a fun little, it's almost like a what if, but also like maybe what could they do with a lot of these stories? And we do see that happening here and there within what we get on screen, but maybe a new big picture thing. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
That will be.
A little bit of homework.
It's a good one. I like that.
So thank you everyone for watching. It's time for everyone, I guess, to go like get all the dust off the books on their shelves and pick one out and read. So, thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
See you guys.